Hi y'all, welcome back to the Plant Plan Kitchen. Today we're doing a grocery haul and I'm going to show you what $48 can get you these days. Spoiler alert, not much. Before we get into that, you may be hearing it in my voice. I am coming off from a sickness, an illness. I had a cold. I'm assuming it's a cold. Didn't get tested or anything, but I'm feeling stronger today. Just my voice has left the building all week. And so hopefully you can put up with that for a little while. I'll try to do all of this in one shot and I'll try to do it quick. Okay, so first off, I'm going to tell you what I already had in my cupboard and in my refrigerator. I should preface this by saying I'm coming back from a trip. I was abroad for a little while and then I was at my dad's house in Pennsylvania. And so what I try to do before I leave is I try to just eat everything that I have at home without bringing in more and more stuff, and then I can go out, knowing that I don't have a whole bunch of stuff rotting in my cupboard or in my refrigerator. So I had some things left over in the fridge. I had these Trader Joe's potatoes, so these I definitely intend on using this week. I also had some soy-free tofu. I love this stuff. If you can find it, it's not in every grocery store, but it's in enough stores now where it's quite possible that you might find this here in the States. I think on the West Coast, it's a little bit more popular to find it. I think it's coming out of Vancouver or somewhere in the middle of Canada somewhere. So anyway, this is a great product. If you are not a fan of soy, but you like tofu or you like high protein items, this is your friend. The macros are crazy. I've probably spoken about this before, so I won't go on for much longer on that. But that's going to be one of my high protein sources for my meals this week. That'll probably be 2 servings or so. And then I also have, now this is coming from my time at my dad's house. They ordered out Chinese food a couple of times and they give you a huge thing of rice with every order. And this is 2 little things of rice, 2 pints of rice that I didn't go through because I was like, this is just so much rice. So I'll be using this, and this will probably take me a week to get through because I don't eat too much rice in each serving. Not that rice is bad, I'm just not a heaps of rice person. Okay, I know, like take away my Haitian card or something, I know. Okay, so that is what I'm coming into this grocery haul with. I knew that I had those items, so I knew that I needed some proteins. I knew that I needed some vegetables. The other piece of context here is that I'm in New York City and it is cold. It is getting to that point in winter where I'm like, escape is necessary. So I had a plan for a soup. I had a plan to use up the potatoes, to have something with the potatoes, and I have a plan for something with the rice. And here we go. So, speaking of protein, I got a tub of this. This has become my go-to because it's readily available at Trader Joe's for not a wild price, and the macros are good. They happen to have the type of orgain protein, vegan protein, that doesn't have a whole lot of unnecessary carbs in it. Again, and I've said this over and over, I have absolutely no problem with carbs. It's just when I'm getting a protein powder, I want it to be mostly protein, right? Because I'm trying to add protein to my diet, not add a whole bunch of calories from everywhere, right? So I find those protein powders that, and you'll see this a lot with vegan proteins, unfortunately, where the protein will be like 20 grams of protein and then 17 grams of carbs. And I'm like, well, I can just eat more food if that's the, like, what is the point of that? Anyway, I digress. So I got this. This claims to be 14 servings, but it's more like 10 because you add a half a scoop, etc. So that I'm having that with some almond milk. Oh, I should have also said I have some oatmeal. I always have oats on hand, so it's why it never occurs to me to say it. So I have oats, and then I have some like muesli mix, which is basically, dried oats and, nuts or whatever the heck else. So that will likely be my breakfast. I'll make a chocolate protein shake, and then I'll have an overnight oats or muesli or something like that along with it. So that's for breakfast. As you know, every time I shop at Lidl, I will get tofu. So I got 4 of these. They're $1.50, $1.55 each. So I got 4 of these. That'll be, like maybe 5 servings or something like that, 4 or 5 servings. I eat a lot of tofu, okay? So deal with it. I'm a soy girl. So that's something that I will have. Along with the tofu, and I'm going to air fry this tofu. Along with the tofu, I have this. So this was also at Lidl. They have a great frozen veg section with like rotating cast of characters. They have the staples like your regular frozen veg and your broccoli and your spinach and your green beans and things like that. But then they also have some fun items every once in a while. So this one is from the preferred selection line, and it's seasoned Asian style vegetables. This is basically just a mix of vegetables. You can kind of see in the photo there. I won't read it off to you because you might not even have this in your store. But what I like to do is take these interesting mixed veggie blends and then just make a meal out of it, right? Instead of wasting time looking at recipes and figuring things out and making this and that. There's a time and a place for having fun like that, but when you're busy, when you're just trying to get meals on your plate, these are game changers. These are super helpful because you don't have to think too much. This comes with everything, all the veg in there. If you want to add veg to it, wonderful. But I'm gonna have some air fried tofu, heat this up, and I will also add some mushrooms to this because I felt like there wasn't enough mushrooms. There's never enough mushrooms. So that will be what I have with the rice this week. So that's meal number 1. Meal number 2, the soup. So at Trader Joe's, I got this you know and love. You know and love. This is the holiday vegetable hash. It's just butternut squash, sweet potato, red onion, celery, parsley, sage, rosemary. This is gonna be really quick. So I have some bouillon cubes, some vegetable bouillon cubes. Throw that in the pot. I don't know, it's slightly off camera. I don't know if you can see it, but I have my Instant Pot here. So maybe that's how I'll cook that, or I'll throw it in a pot in the stove, doesn't matter. But this cooks up so quickly. And what I will have with that is, so I'm playing around with either just keeping that as a simple soup or putting like little meatballs in it. So to be determined. I'll have a follow-up short probably showing you what the final product ends up being, but I bought this just in case. I will supplement this with some textured pea protein that I have to make some easy little, like kind of meatballs or sausage balls or whatever that. It's not real, so I am not married to calling it anything, but this will probably be either in the soup or on the side with some other meal. And I also have some extra squash. These might end up in that soup depending on the volume that I want to make and how many servings I want. If not, I'll just have it as a side with the potatoes that I showed you earlier, some spinach, and then this fava bean tofu, and that will be that. Now, along with the soup, I also got some from Trader Joe's. I got these English muffins. These I love because they're $1.99. You get 6 of them, and they're kind of single serve already, right? Like sometimes with bread, it just becomes a thing where you're eating a whole bunch of bread like all the time. But this is like kind of a compact, little toasted bread that works well with soups. I don't know if you know that, but this works really well with soups. So I'll have that. I'll probably butter them, using vegan butter, and have that along with my soups. And that's that. Did I cover everything? I did. Oh no, I did not. I also got this oat creamer from Trader Joe's. There's no story with this. I just have. You would have seen the evolution of me in my coffee game. For some reason, I started putting this junk in my coffee. So before this channel, I promise you, I just consistently had either black coffee or with soy, unless if I went out to get an espresso beverage, then I would have like a soy latte or an oat latte or something like that, or flat whites are chef's kiss. I love a flat white. A macchiato every once in a while, a real macchiato, not a Starbucks macchiato with just like a dollop of foam or something. So but these days, for some reason, these are really hitting. And I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, those of you who were around this time last year, I don't know if I ever got this gingerbread creamer, so I couldn't remember it, so I'm trying it again, just in case if I haven't. And that's that. I am keeping it so simple this week. You will notice that I'm not doing anything elaborate. I'm not, this component and that component and all of that. This is kind of normal for me, but it's also way more important for December because a couple of things. So, and I'm looking here because I have like, remember to say, like a list of things to say. So, you would have noticed that there was a kind of gap here, a little hiatus that I took. I have filmed a bunch of videos, and I just haven't edited them. So that's number one. So let me know if you are still interested in videos like videos that I filmed in like, October and November. They might have food items that are not seasonal anymore. Well, they're seasonal somewhere, but anyway. And I have some like talking head videos about protein and things like that. Let me know if you would like to see those. I am trying to have way more videos out. I want to have a video out for the rest of the year, every day in December. That's a commitment for me, given my record here over the past couple of months. But you let me know if that's what you want to see. So that's number one. Number two, I want to talk about my recent trip to Ireland. I had such a good time, and it was, it turned out to be almost a mini scouting trip for me. And I really want to talk about that because this channel is about eating well for your health and longevity. And when it concerns health and longevity, eating is not the only thing. And as you know, I am a health coach, and I don't just talk about eating. That's a big component of our health and our longevity and all of that, and our strength and different things like that. But that's not the only thing that I talk about when I'm coaching, and so why limit that here? And especially, I'm not a chef or anything. I just talk about the different components of meals that you can incorporate, how to have a healthy lifestyle overall, even though you're getting, processed foods, even though you're getting like, cheat code ingredients and stuff like that. Okay, what does it look like over time to have a healthy diet, right? So that's the basis here. But I also talk about movement. I talk about movement throughout your day. I talk about stress, which is huge. If there's one thing I could tell us all to do is just to be better managers of our stress, our negative stress. I talk about, lifting weights. And I got to flex for a moment. Bear with me. Today, even though I'm coming off of a sickness, I did do a PR in my squats. Thank you. I have such a horrible gauge for, what weights are gonna work for me. I need to get better at that. So I just kept putting like these tiny plates on, and my coach was like, "You're a grinder. You can do as many reps with whatever weight, and you're excellent at that, but you have no idea what you can do. Like, you have no idea, you have no gauge of your strength. And I'm like, I'll take the compliment that's in there. I will take it. So yeah, so there's all these different components to our health, and environment is a huge one. And where you're living and how you're living is a huge one. And there are some changes that are coming up in my life that have been happening behind the scenes. And I feel like I should talk about them. I'm gearing up to have a video about my trip to Ireland. Hopefully I can incorporate some show and tell. That and the fact that my voice has left the chat is the only reason why I haven't put up a video yet and haven't filmed it yet. But when I'm ready to do that, I would love to share that with you. Let me know if that's something you're interested in. If there's anything in particular, I know there are a lot of you that I know from different circles that are, trying to bop around the world, or, have a lot of significant life changes that you're going through or that you have gone through. Let me know if any of that interests you and what specifically interests you about that. This channel will always and forever be about health and longevity and muscle gain and fat loss, if that's a part of your health journey. But I also want to incorporate some of these other things that have a lot to do with our health. So you might not see me in this kitchen as regularly as, well, I mean, I can't even say regularly the way I've been treating this channel, but you know what I mean. We'll have some excursions, hopefully. And yeah, okay, so that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Let me consult my list because, I be saying stuff and, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, yeah, about all of this stuff, are you shocked by this? It's been some time. I'll have to run the tapes to see what $40, $48, $50 used to get me back in the day, but this feels a little bit like I'm starting to make some real decisions out here, you know what I mean? So I don't know. This will probably get me through the week. I do have, some stuff, sides and veggies and stuff. I have some green beans and things like that. So this isn't everything, but this is the main components. So I think it'll get me through the week, but it feels a bit much. I used to get a week's full of groceries for like $25. So what's that about? Actually, I should have also mentioned this. So this is when I was in Ireland. I was in Ireland for a week and a half, a little over a week, and so as you do, you buy food, you go to restaurants, you do this, you do that. Going to, and I should have filmed this, but I was with friends. Going to the grocery stores there, I was like, oh, this is what the price of food is. And I know that's not like cheap for, comparative to some other places, but I was shooketh and a little upset. And I kept this, I just finished this actually, but I kept this as a reminder. This is, I went to some like kind of health food store. It was kind of like a combination of, for my American viewers, it's kind of a combination of like a GNC and a health food store, which was really interesting to see, / pharmacy. It was very interesting. But in any case, I found this bag of protein powder. This was like €8. And it's a vegan protein. I don't like the fact that it's like, what does it say? Designed for women, delivered by femme fuel. Like, what do you mean designed for women? Like, we all work the same way. Whatever. But I thought it was pretty cool. It's a vegan protein. This one was a salted caramel flavor. And the protein matrix, as it's called, is pea protein and rice protein. I love that combination, and it is so hard to find that here in the States. Perhaps I'm not looking hard enough. If you know of a brand that does pea and rice protein, this, for example, I think it's just pea, so it's not as optimal as it could be. But obviously, I'm eating other stuff and other proteins throughout the day, so, your body figures it out, really. But to have it all in one, I was like, damn, and this is just a regular ass bag of protein, like, and yeah, it has, how many servings is in this? I forgot. It said somewhere how many servings was in it, but I was just so shocked. I had sticker shock. I was like, wait, this is the cost? So I can just like spend less than 10 euros and get protein for a week? And it tasted good. I'll talk more about some of the shocking, I haven't, to be fair, I hadn't been outside of the country in a little while. And, you know, I mean, besides like Canada. And okay, I'll save the rest of this for my video on Ireland. But yeah, drop a comment, drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already. I know this one has been all over the place. Forgive me. I'm sick and I'm trying to find other excuses. I'm rusty and whatever. Okay, bye.